Hey, we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday, doing some statistical analysis of puzzle cube sizes in order to find the best tolerance that we could put on our dimensions. So, just as a real quick recap, in case you were gone yesterday, in this cell here, we calculated our average size by using this formula that shows up here in the formula box. We did equals the word average, which in Google Sheets really means the mean. That's the sum of all these numbers divided by the total numbers in the data set. So we did equals average, which really means mean, and then we highlighted all 27 numbers in our data set. Then when we hit enter, it gave us this number over here. Only when it gave us this number over here, it had a ton of decimal places. Yesterday, in my rush to get us to the end of class, I had you decrease it to 3 decimal places, and I should have told you to decrease this to 4 decimal places, as typically we'll list our mean, median, mode, standard deviation, all those different averages 1 decimal place further than the amount of decimals given to us in our data set. Then the next thing we did is we calculated the range, which is the distance from the largest number in this data set to the smallest one. By using this formula, we did equal max. We told it to search through this list, and then we said subtract with the minus sign the min. And again, we told it to search through these 27 numbers, and then hit enter, and it gave us a range of 36 thousandths of an inch. Right? So that's what we did yesterday. Today, we want to take these numbers and we want to kind of display them as a graphical representation. So we're going to insert a chart. To do that, I'm going to highlight all the numbers here. You can see it drew that blue box around it. And now I'm going to come up to the Insert tab and say Insert a chart. And Google Sheets always picks the wrong charts, it seems like. We don't want whatever this chart is, so we're going to go over here to Setup, and up at the very top, we're going to change it from a column chart to a histogram, which is kind of like a bar chart. So we'll pick on histogram, and you can see we've got some bars showing up here in our chart, but the bucket size, right, or the range of each of these bars is bigger than we want. So now we're going to go in and customize this thing. We'll go to the histogram tab, and under histogram, you can see our bucket size is set to auto. What I would like to do for my bucket size here is change it to kind of display each of these sizes individually to get started. So you can see each of these numbers is listed to the nearest thousandth of an inch. That's what I want to set my bucket size to. I want to go to a thousandth of an inch to get started. Now I'll hit enter. And you can see it gives me some really skinny little lines there, and they're kind of all centered right in the middle of my graph. So we can fix that too. We can get rid of some of this empty space here and kind of zoom in, so to speak, on our numbers by coming down to horizontal axes. And under horizontal axes, it asks you for the minimum and the maximum. So we can do this one of two ways. Unfortunately, Google Sheets will only default or will only scale the labels to a number as small as 100th. We need to see it to the thousandth of an inch. And so there's like 10 numbers lined up here. I can see the smallest one looks like it's 0.75 something. So I'm going to, whoops, in the minimum box, just subtract like 5,000 from there. So I'm going to go 745 thousandths for my smallest number. And it looks like I got a little white space on my left-hand side between the far bar and the graph. And then I'll tab over. And again, I'm going to estimate, this one's probably about 785,000, so I might go 0.790, 790 thou. I've got a little more white space there than I want, so I might subtract 5 from that. And you can see I still got a bunch of white space over here, so I might even change my max to Oh, there's 785. It's like it's lagging behind on me here. There, it updated it. Whoops. All right, we weren't done with that yet. All right, the last thing I wanted to do on this customize tab is I got a bunch of numbers, but I'm not sure what they mean. So I'm going to go back to my horizontal axes. Um, and it's been 6 months since I've done this. I'm going to go to chart and axes titles and put some titles in there. Sorry about that. So let's go to the chart and axes titles. Uh, let's put a chart title on here first so we know what do these bars represent. This is our puzzle cube dimensions. All right, so now we got that title on there. Then if we click on the chart title drop down, we could put a chart subtitle on here. We could do maybe the semester 1 of 2020. All right, so we know that's when these uh, dimensions were taken. And then I'm going to give the horizontal axis a title. Now that's all these numbers down here. What do they represent? That's our cube size and thousandths of an inch. All right, and then I need to title this vertical axis. So what do those numbers 1 through 3 mean on this chart? And those numbers represent the occurrence, right? Or how often are we finding one of those cubes out of the 27? So I'm going to call it the occurrence. Maybe I could have picked a word I knew how to spell. We'll give it the old right click. Occupancy. What's another word that we could do here? We could say the rate. Probably a better word that's on the tip of my tongue. I've only had one cup of coffee this morning. If you come up with something better than rate over here, by all means, let me know when we come back together as a class. Right? So that's the last thing I wanted you to do. If you want to get in here, add some color to it. Maybe it's bothering you that we've got blue and red. If you want to click some buttons and combine that, you can. But this is the basic chart that we want to make. We'll come back and look at this a little closer in just a minute here, and we'll start again trying to apply this to some tolerancing guidelines. We'll see what the connection is between the two of these.